Greetings, beings of the internet. My name is Luke, and have you ever been approached by someone holding their phone and a ridiculously tiny microphone actively recording to ask you some ridiculous question? Because surprisingly, I have. Although the people that approached me were nowhere near as bad as the people that I want to talk about in this video, because these street interviewers that I have come across are just douchebags in my opinion. The main one that I'm covering today thinks it's funny to just try and shame women or make fun of them, and I'm not going to bother name dropping him because I know he's probably one of those bottom feeders that feeds off any kind of attention, whether it's good or bad. Now, with that being said, let's get into the videos I have found. The first video that I have is this dude trying so hard to be judgmental, but there is nothing for him to judge.
What's your body count?
Oh, 2.
What if you weren't lying?
I'm not lying.
Do you multiply it by 3?
No, I respect myself. I have 2.
Would your father be proud of you right now?
He is very proud of me. I'm on a full ride in college, straight A's, was class president, and I'm in a steady relationship. Only had one other body for that, not a hoe, and yeah, very successful. And moved over 1,000 miles away from home. So I think they would be very proud of me.
Honestly, good for her. She handled this dude's nonsense very well. Although, I would love to see him try this shit with the wrong person because I think he needs to be humbled very badly. Like, the fact that his initial remark is, okay, but what if you weren't lying? Like, that is an incredibly stupid remark. He's trying so hard to make her look bad. And this is what I see a lot of from the men that do these street interviews. Their main goal of some or almost all of their videos is to try and shame women, and it's disgusting. But that girl in the video is doing very, very well. It's impressive. I was straight A's my whole school life until senior year, but then once I got into college, I learned very quickly that that is something that is very hard to maintain. What she is doing is amazing. But when it comes to his question about body count, things like that shouldn't even matter. Like, people's worth should never be based on how many people they've been with. Who gives a shit if her count was higher or lower? It shouldn't matter as long as people are doing it safely and consensually. The same men who focus on this are usually the same ones to call women who do have a higher body count used up or ran through, but then those men themselves do not have a partner. I wonder why. Or they have a higher body count as well. They tend to be massive hypocrites. But like I said, body count should not be something that we are basing someone's worth or value on. I'm not sure what the correct word I'm looking for is here, but what I'm just trying to say is as long as it's safe and consensual, who cares? Along with that, the whole question of, is your father proud of you, or other remarks where they call people fatherless, is also incredibly ignorant in my opinion, because there are some parents who will find the simplest things to be upset about or tell their kids that they're disappointed in them, even if they are doing as good as the girl in the video is doing. Or what happens if you ask someone this, trying to shame them, and it turns out their parent has passed away? I could use myself for an example, because my father would tend to be proud of me for my grades and my academic achievements, but in other ways, I'm everything he told me not to be, which is why I choose to barely interact with him because he claims he can't change or won't accept me for who I am. That's a personal example, but it goes to show there's reasons why you should not ask people questions like these in effort to shame them, because you don't know their history. Next up, this is the main guy that I have videos from, and he likes to body shame people as well. Here's the first video.
Ladies, does height matter in a guy?
Absolutely.
So you're judging guys based on something they can't change. I judge based on stuff women can change. So I see you got some makeup on, officer.
If you wipe my makeup off, no, I'm not wiping my makeup off.
So just
That's a preference for you.
And a preference is height, but we can't change that. You can change your makeup.
That's fine. You don't know that.
You put it on. You have a choice.
Yeah, but
I don't have a choice to choose how tall I am.
Okay, that's great.
So this guy in particular, his videos run a pretty similar script every time, but he might find different ways to try and body shame people, basically. When he asks if height matters in a guy and then wants to get all defensive about it, people are allowed to have preferences as long as they're not being shitheads about it. This guy, on the other hand, seems to try to get commenters to express their preferences in rude ways by trying to shame these girls for their looks. But if he wants to reflect judgments onto other people about what they can change, I could say he could change his fashion sense or lack thereof. I believe if he wants to try and insult others on their looks, he could maybe take some advice in the same way that he gives it to see how it feels. But he was talking to the lady about her makeup and stuff, but then when they were editing the video, they decided to put the captions over her face, but from what I could see of her face, it didn't look bad. And who's to say that she's wearing the makeup for others to judge and have opinions on? Maybe, just maybe, she's wearing it because she wants to, or she likes the look of it. People can do things for themselves, not just for other people. People can wear makeup and still be confident about their natural appearance, but he seems like the type to assume she's wearing it to make herself look attractive. This dude really angers me, but let's continue to the next video. Also, the girl in this next video appears to be wearing rave attire, so I might have to censor her skirt because I don't know how YouTube will feel about it, but here it is.
Do you think height matters in a guy?
Yes.
Step on the scale. 140?
140?
Look at the scale. Don't look at me. 135.
Try 115.
I mean, the scale doesn't lie.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, the scale lies.
Yeah.
I mean, the scale says 140. What, are you going to argue with the scale?
Yes.
You are just a woman. You argue with anything.
Yes.
Okay, two things I want to talk about here. First of all, she looks healthy, and you cannot tell me that she is overweight in any way. And I'm not one to shame anyone for their size, but I can acknowledge that there are healthy and unhealthy weights for different heights and other stuff like that. But that still does not give a person the right to shame anyone else, because they don't know their circumstances. But the girl in the video appears healthy and happy. There's nothing wrong with her. The other issue I have with this guy is the stupid comment he made of, "You're just a woman. You'll argue with anything." Like, what? I hate that comment. It also just reminds me of dudes who refer to women as females, which just, it's disgusting. But believe me, I see guys arguing over anything as well. Most people, if they know something is wrong, they're gonna argue about it. Gender does not matter there. If something's wrong, argue it. I feel like this dude does this for rage bait, but I still want to talk about this content as it just encourages this kind of degenerate behavior. Okay, last video from this guy, because this guy makes me feel like I'm actively losing brain cells. Here it is.
Does height matter in a guy?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
I'm going to judge based on something you guys can change. So we're going to measure your waist.
What?
35 inches. We're going to let the comments decide, actually.
Better be very careful.
Oh, no.
Too big to say size matters.
I swear to God, this guy is delusional. These women all look fine. The only time I worry about a person's weight is if their health is at risk, but still, I'm not going to shame them. But he also says that the stuff that he's commenting on is something that they can change, which is not true in all cases. There are some factors like genetics and medical conditions that can make it a lot harder to either gain weight or lose weight. But if a person is happy with their looks, let them be happy. Don't try to shame them or project your preferences onto them. This dude is all about asking the same question, then tries to create an argument, but does it in such a misogynistic and shaming way. Also, he walks around with a scale or tape measure, and other so-called influencers like him do it too. But I don't see the girls that they are interviewing measuring men's heights, and I'm not saying there aren't women who shame men, because I am actively collecting content on that for another video down the line as well. But these street interviewers need to grow up and quit being assholes about things and maybe become a little more educated in certain areas as well. These are just my thoughts and feelings about these creators. Feel free to leave yours in the comments and subscribe if you like. Thank you for watching, and that's all from me for now. Enjoy your next internet endeavor.